Hello and welcome to Ageless Rock, a channel for megalithic fans with megalithic lands. This topic is a continuation from my previous 3 videos on the same subject. It is a fascinating subject which hardly anyone talks about when they visit this mysterious island on their vacation. The Pacific Ocean takes a vast area of the planet and is dotted with islands so tiny, mostly are invisible to our naked eyes if you are traveling in a spaceship. But yet, they were already dominated by Austronesians since few thousand years ago. When the Europeans arrived about 500 years ago, they were surprised Stone Age people were already there. Early settlers of Hawaii is believed to have reached the shores about 2 to 3,000 years ago. They are said to have navigated the ocean by reading the stars, but they are illiterate because they have no writing. The only people who know how they got there are the Hawaiians themselves, but strangely, they have only myths and legends about their own origin. Let's continue with another Hawaiian temple called Kane'aki Heiau, which is located in Makaha Valley. It is believed that the original construction began between 1450 and 1640. Then it is believed that it has gone through 3 modifications. Maybe that is why some articles stated it was built in the 16th or 17th century. It was rededicated by King Kamehameha the Great as a war temple, and it is believed that he used this temple until he died. Kane'aki Heiau was dedicated to Lono, who is god of fertility, rain, and agriculture. The local inhabitants of these megalithic platforms never really said they constructed these stone terraces. This temple has the reputation as the best preserved heiau in Hawaii. You can see there are terraces which archaeologists say they are for rituals, and different class of worshippers such as chiefs and priests would use different levels. I think it was used and abandoned because it was already there. This area is probably bigger than most articles would write. You can zoom in and see structures which I believe are more unnatural than natural formations. There are megalithic terraces around the world such as Gunung Padang in Indonesia and Machu Picchu in Peru. There is an altar at the center and is said to be God Kane. In Machu Picchu, there is a stone in the middle called Intihuatana. I think the function of terraces are misinterpreted as rituals for worship, with different ranks were stationed at different levels. The unknown megalithic builders must be laughing at us because we can only see them as tombs and temples. Puʻu o Mahuka Heiau sits on a high altitude approximately 105 meters or 345 feet above beach level overlooking Waimea Valley. The high elevation made it a favorite spot for breathtaking views. It is said to be a 17th century construction meant to be a sacrificial Loakini Heiau dedicated to Ku, god of war. It is believed Captain George Vancouver, a British naval officer, lost 3 men after a skirmish with the natives and were believed to have been sacrificed here. This view reminds me of Gunung Padang in Indonesia. It has terraces on top of a highland. The unknown ancient builders left something behind, and it is our human nature to see them as temples and tombs. But I think the original intention is beyond our IQ. This heiau is approximately 1.75 acres or 7,082 square meters in area size, making it the largest heiau in Oahu Island. It is divided into lower, middle, and upper enclosures. It is about 175 meters or 575 feet long and 52 meters wide or 170 feet wide. The area cleared of vegetation is what you can see, but there is a big portion on the west which is still covered by trees. At Puʻu o Mahuka, there is an interesting astronomical event that happens on Mahahiki Day. During sunset at Kaena Point, which is the furthest west end of Oahu Island, it is not only a beautiful sunset view. If you look towards Puʻu o Mahuka Heiau, when the sky turns dark, you can see Pleiades constellation rising above Puʻu o Mahuka Heiau. Puʻu o Mahuka is more than just a temple for sacrifice. Based on lunar calendar, the Hawaiian New Year called Mahahiki begins in November. On this day, from Kaena Point, you can see the Pleiades constellation rising above Puʻu o Mahuka Heiau during sunset. Whether this is a coincidence or not is not clear, because there isn't any megalithic objects at Kaena Point I can find for now. Kane is typically represented by an upright monolith. It is the same concept of Linga in Hinduism and Intihuatana in Machu Picchu in Peru. It seems like ancient megalithic builders dropped something in the past and we pick it up as a religion. Interdimensional beings still affect the lives of the locals, and so locals still gladly give offerings. The actual knowledge of this structure is definitely lost, and we only do what we do as a continuation of our ancestral tradition. At Pokai Bay of Oahu Island, there is a heiau called Ku'ilioloa Heiau, which most Hawaiians will think it is a normal 3-level terrace temple which their forefathers built. It is the only heiau which is technically surrounded by the ocean on 3 sides, but the legend smells like something worth investigating with megalithic lens. In Palau Island, primitive inhabitants are said to reshape the landscape into terraces for no apparent reason. In Indonesia, unknown inhabitants shaped terraces with basalt columns, and in Machu Picchu, Incas are said to reshape bedrock into terraces for agriculture. It looks like the unknown ancient builders had other plans for these terraces, and we will never know why. According to one legend, there was a navigator by the name Lonoakaehu. He is the one who is credited to building this heiau. But the legend says he was from an island 4,400 kilometers away called Tahiti. He built this heiau with some stones from Tahiti. This is an incredibly perilous journey on an ancient floating craft. At a glance, you might say this legend is nonsense, but my megalithic lens seems to suggest that the east-west wall of Ku'ilioloa Heiau might be aligned to Tahiti. Now, suddenly, the legend of the few stones from Tahiti might be a vague memory of something much deeper and profound in the lost ancient knowledge. There is also another Hawaiian mythology that says there was once a creature which is half animal and half god. This is God Ku, who is the god of war who appeared in the form of a dog. So this site is translated and worshipped as the long dog form of Ku. Ku is a god who can take the forms of many avatars, just like Shiva in Hinduism. Another oral tradition says that Lonoakaehu was from Raiatea Island, which is part of Society Islands, approximately 200 kilometers northwest from Tahiti. The stones that were shipped to Ku'ilioloa were from Tapu Tapu Atea, which is a megalithic site for another day. If it is from Tahiti, it could be from Arahurahu. So, when you put all the puzzle pieces together, you have a legend that says the builders were from either Tahiti or Raiatea. The east-west walls of Kane'aki Heiau seems to agree with this direction. Even a few magical stones from Tapu Atea seems to suggest certain power or energy emitting from Kane'aki Temple as a guide for sailors of the ancient world. Imagine turtles guided by geomagnetic fields in the ocean could be the reason energized stones were placed at Kane'aki and Tapu Atea as a guide based on lost ancient knowledge. Today, natives still believe that you can get protection at sea. Maybe the foundation of that belief was from a knowledge that simply guide the ocean travelers from shore to shore. While the mainstream archaeology praises the native Polynesians as super awesome navigators who can read the night sky like a storybook, they actually had only primitive tools made of stones, bones, shark teeth, and sharp wooden sticks. Stone Age civilization, curious about what lies 4,000 kilometers away in the ocean, sounds like a legend itself. With all the heiaus in Hawaii and still no real story, I would rather believe they have mysterious energy that was once useful for navigation. Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this short presentation on Heiaus of Hawaii. See you in the next video and have a wonderful day. This is Berniong signing out. Ahuio aloha.